Alright, I'm documenting my biggest financial mistake, quote unquote, question mark, that I made in my whole life. Let's keep going. We're in the H's, and we're now going to talk about one of my favorite screwball comedies ever, This Girl Friday. Howard Hawks is such an underrated director when it comes to early Hollywood. When it comes to the era when like Hollywood was just still trying to like get their footing when it comes to sound pictures. And I'm pretty sure he didn't write this movie. Was it written by him? I don't think it was written by him. Yeah, he was mostly like a director. He didn't really write the movies, but this is just, come on. If you've seen this movie, you know what I'm talking about. It's such a quick movie. The dialogue just goes. Oh, I didn't even start the timer. Okay, I'm gonna start the timer now. But anyways, it just goes left and right. It's just constant jabs towards each other. Cary Grant and Rosalind Russell, they just both fucking nail it. And like this movie's also very famous for like Quentin Tarantino kind of quoting it, or like making like notes in the Pulp Fiction screenplay where he basically wrote, or maybe it was the Reservoir Dogs screenplay, one of those two, and basically he just wrote down, basically do the same thing that they did in His Girl Friday, which is, I mean, you can tell that this snappy, very personality-filled dialogue did in fact influence Tarantino. And man, I don't know, I think this movie's just really funny. There's a lot of really funny movies from the 30s that have aged extremely well, especially like the Marx Brothers movies, and Howard Hawks, obviously. And it's got a bunch of featurettes about Hawks, about the actors, about the making of the movie, about just the restoration process, which is interesting. Interviews with a film scholar about the film. I never really thought about the historical impact of this movie, or like the making of stories of this movie. I'm not necessarily sure if it has any like real controversies about it. I just watched it like really late at night one day, and I just really loved it, and that's why I bought it. I loved it. It's a solid image. Like the expressions that they kind of give each other here are it really indicates a lot about the actual movie. I like that it's drawn, even though it's not necessarily like overly stylized. You can tell it's Cary Grant, and you can tell it's Rosalind Russell. But yeah, great movie. Everybody needs to see it if they care about dialogue or about early Hollywood before they went like really, really, really over the budget on their movies. So here's a film that I have not seen. I bought just on recommendations that I've had throughout the years. Hoop Dreams. So I believe this was Roger Ebert's favorite movie from the 90s, and that alone kind of makes me want to see it. Is there anything that Roger Ebert did? Yes, so there is a Siskel and Ebert tracking collection of excerpts from Siskel and Ebert tracking the acclaim for Hoop Dreams. I love Siskel and Ebert. I love that TV show. I watched so many clips of them just arguing. Whether arguing or just kind of agreeing with movies. The rapport they have on that show is amazing. It's so natural too, especially like by like the late 80s they had a formula there and it worked. And it didn't seem like a formula. But anyways, this movie, I'm not sure if I have a lot to say about it because I haven't seen the film. So I want to see it very soon. I know it's really long. It's almost 3 hours, but it's about two ordinary, I'm just reading off the back, two ordinary inner-city Chicago kids dare to reach for the impossible. Professional basketball glory in this epic chronicle of hope and faith. Filmed over a 5-year period, Hoop Dreams by Steve James, Frederick Marks, and Peter Gilbert follows young Arthur A-G-E-E. I'll stop there. That alone, like any story, any like real story about youthful hardship and going for your dreams, and not actual authentic stories about it, not like over sugar-coated stories about it, always fascinate me. They always kind of make me cry. I don't really know why. They make me really emotional. And there's a new documentary called Life After Hoop Dreams that catches up with the people and the families that were involved in this movie. So it basically has a sequel in the special features. So that'll be great. It's going to be great. I'm going to watch it very soon. A review? Maybe. I'm not really sure. So this was an obvious buy. Housu, as they called it in the Japanese titles. And yeah, what can you really say about this movie? Well, first of all, the cover, it's great. It's beautiful. I know there's like a t-shirt for this. I know there's a t-shirt with his face on it. I want to buy it really badly. Maybe one day. But, what can I really say about the movie, man? It's got a constructing a quote-unquote house, a new video piece featuring interviews with the director and the filmmakers and the daughter of the filmmaker who basically just wrote the screenplay. You know, I think she basically sat down with her father and said, and this happens, and that happens, and then this happens, and the screenplay was written. And that sounds amazing. I do want to hear what she thinks about the movie now. And the film, come on, I've seen it so many times that it doesn't even feel weird to me anymore, and I've seen weirder movies since, but, I don't know, it definitely opened my mind to just how films don't need to follow rules. You can kind of do whatever you want, as long as it makes sense within the realm of that movie. As long as it doesn't destroy the continuity of the style of the film. As long as that happens, you can do whatever you want. And because this film basically doesn't restrict itself at all just from the get-go, whatever happens in this movie, even though it's weird in real life, and compared to other movies it's weird, but within this film you're like, oh, of course a guy turns into a pile of bananas. Duh. It's great. If anybody hasn't seen it, and if anybody really wants to see it, you probably should. It's great. There's so much to talk about with that movie. If you haven't noticed, I do have a cold. I do have like a stuffed up nose right now, which is, I'm not sure if I do sound sad. It sounds sick. Boy, that was a Freudian slip. I'm a sad boy. Another film that I haven't seen, that I've had a lot of recommendations towards. A lot of people recommended this movie to me. It's the Mad World. 4 Mads. And, the cast alone, come on. Milton Berle, Ethel Merman, Mickey Rooney, Spencer Tracy, Jonathan Winters, basically just a buttload of people who were funny back in the day, who are still kind of funny now, except for Mickey Rooney, who I never necessarily liked. I'm not sure why, but Milton Berle's funny. And Jonathan Winters is also very funny, so yeah. And I love... There was this thing that was happening back in the 60s where they were making like really epically proportioned comedies, and they were really long, and they were also really good. The Great Race is my personal favorite. I've heard that this is like the most famous one. Actually, you know what? The Great Race should probably become part of the Criterion collection, because it's a really good movie, and it's one of my favorites. And Natalie Wood in that movie. God. But this movie. I haven't seen the movie. Again, I haven't seen it. I know this is like a really famous image that has been used multiple times for this film, but it is a really great image. Just like the entire world trying to find this bag. And I don't know, like, okay, so there's an audio commentary featuring aficionados of the film, which is interesting. There's a documentary on the film's visuals and sound effects. And is there a documentary on the film itself? No. A talk show excerpt, press interview, excerpts about the influence of the film. Okay, so that'll be fun. 2-part 1963 episode of the TV program Telescope that follows the film's press junket and premiere. Okay, sure. Oh, okay, so there's this program that was done at the last 70mm Film Festival, hosted by Billy Crystal. That might be fun. I can see how Billy Crystal could have been like a real big fan of the film. Billy Crystal definitely seems like a scholar of comedy, at least like American comedy and English comedy. So yeah, I can't wait to see this movie. I love, like I said, epic 60s comedies featuring a bunch of people. Those are totally my kind of movies. So we got this. That was the only I, and now we go straight to the only J, which is Jules et Jim. Did I think I nailed it. Maybe I nailed it. I'm not really sure. I know just a little bit of French, a very little. I can't do proper conversations. I can do textbook French. You know, like bonjour, je m'appelle Ryan. Is that even how you fucking pronounce Ryan in French? I don't know. Like enchanté, comment ça va, and all that stuff. And throughout my life, I always said "comme ci, comme ça" because that's exactly how I feel 24/7. Yeah, Jules Jim, François Truffaut. Probably, is this the film where he kind of found his footing? Because the 400 Blows is it's very rebellious, but it doesn't necessarily feel properly French New Wave. It was also like before Breathless, and I feel like this really does feel like a film that Truffaut made after Breathless. You know, you can tell that he watched Breathless and he thought, okay, my films need to have much more revolutionary stylistic choices than what I did with the 400 Blows, which is also a very good movie, by the way. I'm not saying anything bad about that film, but this is also a very good movie. And I mean, that image, again, it's been used multiple times, but it is a beautiful drawing. I love minimalistic drawings like that. I do think that I know this is like the end of the upper lip, but it does kind of look like a mustache. Maybe it's just me. Let's see. Okay, 2 audio commentaries. Obviously, Truffaut didn't live long enough to actually do one of these. The Key to Jules et Jim, a documentary about author Henri Pierre Rocher and the real-life relationship that inspired the novel and film. Basically a making of documentary, so, yeah, I'm totally down with that. Interviews, conversations, French TV program. I'll probably learn a lot about, like, European film TV programming through these special features. But, yeah. One of the best movies ever made. Easy. What do I think about it? Did I ever upload a review of this film? I'm not really sure. I just really like it. I think it's really I think it's a really cool movie. I love how nonchalant the ending is. Like the spoiler alert. Just like skip 20 seconds from here. So basically at the end, there are 3 main characters. Only one of the guys survive. And the way he just kind of nonchalantly just accepts the fact that the other 2 is dead, and the way the movie just ends on a very nonchalant manner, I think it's kind of funny. But, yeah, 20 seconds? Yes, 20 seconds. Welcome back after that spoiler corner thing. Great movie. Watch the damn movie, for Christ's sakes. Let's talk about Kubrick. With The Killing. And this was before Kubrick became Kubrick. This was definitely a period where he was showing more of his influences than his actual stylistic ambitions. I think right after this he made Passive Glory, which is really where his style starts to show. And this with Spartacus, it dies down again, and then with Lolita it comes back in full force. But this was before all that. But I do think it's still a solid film noir. A solid is probably like undermining the movie. It is a really good film, and it's got Killer's Kiss. It's got no, is it? Yeah. Okay, so it's got a restored version of Killer's Kiss. I have not seen Killer's Kiss. Killer's Kiss. So that's got to be interesting. There's not a lot of special features for this. It's just got a bunch of interviews. But I just wanted this film on Blu-ray and on like this image. That's a striking image. That's simple, but to the point. A guy with a clown mask with a gun. That's always scary. And it also probably influenced The Dark Knight. Never thought of that. I just thought of that. But yeah, it's Kubrick. You want me to say more about it? Fuck it. I don't know. It's great. It's got great images. The scene where the money flies in the air gets to my heartstrings. So again, let's talk about a movie that I have not seen, that I probably should have seen, and that is also considered one of the greatest movies ever made, by one of the best directing duos ever, Powell and Pressburger. And that is The Life and Death of Colin. And like I said, I haven't seen this movie, so I actually don't know what this movie's about. I just bought it because I wanted to see it, and I cannot find a proper file or DVD of this film in Korea. So, yeah, this is probably the best way to see it. It is a 4K restoration, so it's going to look super clean and super crisp. It's got a bunch of documentaries on the film. Hosted by Scorsese. I know Scorsese loves this movie, and that's probably one of the reasons why I really want to see this too. And so basically, a bunch of stuff that Scorsese did for this DVD, this Blu-ray, and Scorsese's probably like a huge fan of this Criterion Blu-ray collection Laserdisc thing in general. So he has probably funded a lot of the productions for these things. I love the cover. The UK flag in an hourglass. That's a solid cover, man. Yeah, what can I say? I probably can't say much because I haven't seen this movie. But, I mean, come on, I'm a human being. I'm only 20. I'm only 20 years old yet. As of right now, I'll be 21 this year in July. But, I haven't seen this movie. I'm a human being. I can't see fucking everything, man. I'm a human being. And now we go to the eyes. Yes, JKL. Wait a minute. HIJ. Ah, fuck. Here's another eye. I'm sorry. I did not know this was gonna happen. But apparently I'm stupid. And there's a bunch of eyes here, and also a bunch of L's. Fuck. Shit, I didn't notice this. Okay, we're doing the eyes again. I'll finish this video with the 2 eyes that I missed. So, In the Mood for Love. Here's a confession. I haven't seen this movie. I actually haven't seen a single Wong Kar-wai film. I've only seen like scenes from his movies. And I know this is like supposed to be his masterpiece, and I haven't seen Chungking Express. I haven't seen any of those films. Screw me. Kill me in the comments. I don't care. But, yeah, I just wanted to buy this just in case I'll probably get to a point where I want to see this movie. It's also a very early one for the collection. And, yeah, that's a very striking image. Love that image, just like that image alone says a lot about the look of the film, which I do know. I just haven't seen the whole thing. And I really wonder what I would feel about this movie. I mean, I know that it's considered as like one of the best movies ever, not just like one of the best movies of the 2000s. So I'm looking forward to it. To the day that I see this movie. It's not even that long. I should probably watch it like right away. Maybe I will. I'm not really sure. But anyways, there's a bunch of stuff here, like the making of documentary on the film, deleted scenes, a short film by Wong himself, and just a bunch of interviews with Wong and Maggie Chung at a bunch of film festivals. So, yeah. Haven't seen this yet. I don't really have much to say about it, so I'm going to end it there. I'll get back to you when I do in fact see it. But before I even get to seeing it, let's talk about The Other Eye, a film that I actually do know, and I do love. The Innocence. One of the best horror movies ever. I'm getting a bit tired right now. I should probably take a rest. I should probably take a break. Fuck. But yeah, there is, in fact, a new piece on the making of the film. I do want to know about the process of the making of this movie, because it is a movie that really fascinates me. And man, what can I really say about the film? It's just great. I love it. I love how haunting it is. I love how quiet some of the scary scenes are. Like that scene. My favorite scene in the entire movie is when it's a very famous scene. They're at the lake, and you see the girl. At first, she's kind of like saying this little song that, you know, Deborah Kerr's character kind of heard before. She asks, "Oh, where did you learn that song?" And the girl's like, "Oh, I don't know. I guess I just kind of forgot where I learned it." And then she keeps humming it, and then she just kind of looks straight forward into the lake that they're like right next to. And Deborah Kerr's character's like, hey, why aren't you, like, answering to the things that I'm saying? And then she looks towards where the girl's looking at, and there's this woman in a black dress right in the middle of the lake, like sitting on a rock, smiling at the girl. And it is one of the scariest scenes that I've ever seen. It is so haunting. And, like, the sound design in this film is also really, really good. It really adds to the atmosphere. And, I mean, Derrick's acting. Especially at the end where, like, her character totally loses it. It's so good. I love it. Love it. Love this movie. Yeah, it's about 20 minutes on the timer now. I should probably take a rest. I am tired. I am very tired. I've been talking nonstop for 40 minutes. I can't imagine how they do those filibusters at, in those political arenas. I can't imagine. Oh, God damn. I should probably eat something. Yeah, The Innocence. Watch it. It's good. Trust me. I'm a guy you can trust. As far as you know. The end of part 4. We'll see you at part 5.